Thank you for joining us for your midday news. I'm Olivia Sandusky alongside meteorologist Jerry Steffen. It is a Friday. We made it to the end of the work week.
Yeah, still going to be close to normal with lower 70s today. We have a small chance of precipitation. We'll explore that. Also, 80-degree numbers in our future. We'll let you know when that'll happen.
All right, all that coming up in the full forecast. Jerry, thank you. Let's get to your top story this morning. As immigration enforcement expands nationwide, questions are circulating about how federal agents use force and how these incidents are investigated. Experts say recent cases point to some concerning patterns. Alondra Campos joins us live in studio this morning with the details for us. Alondra?
From border crossings to city streets, immigration enforcement is playing out in very public ways. According to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement data, this year alone, more than 70,000 detentions have been carried out, and at least 6 deaths have occurred under ICE custody. We sat down with investigative journalist John Carlos Frey, who tells us that while federal agencies release arrest numbers and data, they often leave out what happens during encounters that turn violent. Operations led by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents and U.S. Customs and Border Patrol officers have fallen under public scrutiny for the alleged use of excessive force in recent months. These are just some of the images that caught the eye of researcher and investigative journalist John Carlos Frey, who has closely followed federal enforcement along the U.S.-Mexico border and across the nation.
I've seen these kinds of incidents at the border for a long time. U.S. Border Patrol would chase down migrants, they would ram them with their cars, they would apprehend them, they would beat them, they would shoot their weapons at them, and this was a lawless, unknown area of the United States, and there were little investigations. Now Border Patrol and ICE are in the interior. We're seeing the same tactics.
His work includes the recently released HBO documentary Critical Incident: Death at the Border, which examines the case of Anastasio Hernandez Rojas, a migrant who died after being repeatedly shocked and beaten by U.S. Border Patrol agents in 2010. But Frey says cases like Anastasio's are not confined to the past.
The main focus of the documentary, the HBO documentary, is the corruption within CBP, within Border Patrol, ICE, covering up murders, protecting their own. I see that still happening, but I see it on steroids.
Frey points to a series of recent immigration enforcement operations that have drawn criticism for alleged excessive force. Among them, the fatal shooting of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old American citizen, during a federal operation in Minneapolis earlier this month.
Today, if you have the administration shutting down an investigation and you have hundreds, possibly thousands of people with their cell phone cameras in Minneapolis, for example, with incidents that are occurring regularly, does that evidence matter if the administration is shutting down the investigation? I'm not suggesting who's right and who's wrong, but there's no investigation.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, U.S. immigration agents have been involved in at least 16 shooting incidents under the current federal enforcement expansion. Recent data shows more than 30 deaths of detainees have occurred under ICE custody since last year. One of those, Luis Beltran Yanes Cruz, a 68-year-old undocumented migrant from Honduras who died at John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital in Indio on January 6 under ICE custody.
Fortunately, with the case in the documentary, we were able to obtain medical records. We were able to get testimony from the coroner. We were able to get information that I don't think that you're going to be able to get about this man who died of heart-related conditions. Like I said, I don't know of federal officials, federal law enforcement officials being forthright with information.
According to the Department of Homeland Security, 70% of those arrested by ICE are convicted criminals or have criminal charges, a statistic Frey challenges based on his research. In Frey's book, Sand and Blood, he warns that information from federal agencies does not capture what happens during arrests, in detention facilities, or in the field.
What I've investigated and what I've reported on for my entire career, I just see what is happening at the border, happening in Minneapolis, or happening in Los Angeles or Chicago. They've brought that whole infrastructure, that whole cover-up mentality into the interior of the United States.
We reached out to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement for clarification on its use of force policies during arrests and detentions, as well as its procedures for investigating critical incidents involving ICE officers. The agency did not respond to our requests for comment. However, ICE policy posted on the agency's website states that officers are authorized to use force only when objectively reasonable and necessary, allowing deadly force only when necessary to prevent imminent death or serious injury to themselves or others. Critical incidents, such as deaths of individuals under ICE custody, are subject to internal review. But Frey says the manner in which these policies are carried out lead to impunity.
If you wear a badge and you carry a gun and handcuffs, that you upholding the law is at a higher standard than a citizen. So if I have immunity, that means I can do anything to you when I choose, and I'm not subject to the same laws that you are.
As ICE operations continue to expand nationwide, the accountability and transparency behind detainments continues to be an unanswered question for communities under the scope of federal agents. Federal immigration agencies say use of force incidents are rare and subject to review, but civil rights groups argue those processes lack transparency. For the full interview with journalist John Carlos Frey and to know more about his work, you can visit NBCPalmSprings.com. Live in studio, I'm Alondra Campos. Back to you.
Alondra, thank you. Now, before we take a look at your weather this morning, some roadway improvements in Indio will be underway starting next week. From Tuesday, January 27th through March 31st, construction will be happening on the north side of Indio Boulevard between the Union Pacific Railroad tracks and Burr Street. That work will include adding new water lines, sidewalks, curbs, and widening the roadways. All westbound traffic will be reduced to one lane, and one of the two northbound turn lanes from Jefferson Street to westbound Indio Boulevard will also be closed. Officials are warning drivers to expect delays, plan to use a different route, and allow a little extra travel time. Now let's bring you outside for a live look. Our Agua Caliente casino camera downtown Palm Springs on this Friday morning, Jerry. Everyone looking to the weekend and little clouds out there, but still beautiful out.
Yeah, near normal mid-January temperatures, 64 degrees in Palm Springs, 46% relative humidity. Winds are calm at the moment. 61 degrees at Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree, 66 at Desert Hot Springs, mostly sunny, 69 at Coachella, 71 at Palm Desert, and 59 degrees at Banning, Coachella, Cabazon coming in at 65 degrees. Compare that to the upper Midwest and upper Plains. These are current temps, a little warmer than they were just a few hours ago. Below zero temps all over the place there. 12 below at Duluth and Fargo and Bismarck, 10 below at Madison, Wisconsin. Glad you're here? Sure you are. Winds light right now, under 10 miles an hour in the Coachella Valley. We do have a low pressure center, a closed low, which is making its way over northwest Mexico right now, but it could bring up a little bit of precipitation, but it looks as though that'll be minimal later on today. Nothing showing up in radar. We'll check that again later this half hour, but 70 to 74 degrees for highs today in the valley with a mix of sun and clouds. That'll be the case for the Coachella Valley today with dew points near 40 degrees and relative humidity that will dry out over the next few days. 73 our forecast high for Palm Springs under partly cloudy skies. Same for Indio. La Quinta 74. Same for Cathedral City 62 at Banning. A Comfort Air 3-day forecast. More sunshine Saturday. Again, lower 70s at around 70 degrees. A little extra high cloud cover Sunday. We'll take a look at next week and the chance of seeing 80s in our future. All coming up. Keep it here.
Jerry, thank you. A local alert this morning. A Desert Hot Springs man accused of repeatedly sexually abusing foster children was charged on Thursday with multiple felony offenses. 64-year-old Sergio Aviles Perez was arrested Tuesday in Palm Desert after a Riverside County Sheriff's Department investigation that started in December. According to court records, the alleged abuse occurred at a foster home operated by Perez and his wife between 2021 and 2025 and involved 3 young girls. Officials say this investigation began after a child reported inappropriate sexual conduct. Perez is charged with 3 counts of lewd acts involving a minor and additional felony counts of sexual abuse of a child under 10. He pleaded not guilty. A felony settlement conference is scheduled for February 2nd at the Larson Justice Center in Indio. He's being held at the Benoit Detention Center without bail. The American Express PGA Tournament is off to an exciting start. Australian Minwoo Lee and American Pearson Coody sharing a 1-stroke lead over 9 golfers entering today's second round. World number 1 Scottie Scheffler among the 9 golfers tied for 3rd. So we'll have more on the action at 5 and 6 tonight. But it is day 2 of the American Express, and we're highlighting the tournament's unsung heroes this morning. Our Brett Rosen had the chance to see how the grounds crew prepares the green bright and early for some of the top golfers in the world.
Now, even though the first tee off is at 8:30, there's professionals already putting in the hard work 4 hours before that. That would be the grounds crew here at the American Express tournament.
Out of those 75, we have between The grounds crew at the American Express tournament are up even before the sun, usually with a 4:30 meeting like this, where they discuss the plan on how to tackle the morning before the first tee. On the team, they have members from all over the world. Some are even volunteers like Tom Meyer, who's a superintendent at another course in Iowa. But during the tournament, he's a volunteer cup cutter.
Most everybody's passionate. If you're in the industry, you've got to be passionate about it. So there's a handful of us that have been doing it for multiple years, and we just love coming back. The place is beautiful. I take vacation to come do this.
In the 4+ hours of prep before the pros are out on the course, the grounds crew are working on every single aspect of the green. Not just mowing it or tending to the sand bunkers, but many are collecting data, like Stuart Barron, who's a greenkeeper all the way from Scotland.
And when the ball releases, I then hold the centimetre steady.
What you're seeing him do is using a track to slightly roll 3 equally weighted balls, to then take the average roll to make sure the roll is consistent, and also test the speed in which the ball is rolling.
Because there's a standard that we need for different levels of golf. For the type of golfers that we have, you know, a professional golfer needs a particularly quick green for himself.
And no one knows how much the little things matter more than Thomas Bastis, a competition agronomist for the PGA Tour, who says his job, as well as the grounds crew, is to make sure they wouldn't be the reason for a player's struggle.
A lot of what we do is we use metrics to make sure that we are tracking along those same type of things. We have endless notes, checklists to make sure that things, happen at the same time. We are checking, double checking, triple checking to make sure the tasks are completed the way that it wouldn't be our fault.
And according to supervisors, even though they crown a champion for the American Express tournament on Sunday, the job isn't finished for the grounds crew, as it takes 2 to 3 weeks to deconstruct everything. Here at the American Express tournament, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
All right, thanks to Brett for waking up early for that one. Still ahead on your midday news, a new legal dispute over how Riverside County treats animals in its care. Attorneys now asking a judge to step in and stop what they call inhumane practices. And here's another live look outside for your Indian Wells Golf Resort camera this morning. Speaking of golf, we've got a few people out there playing as we head into a beautiful weekend here in the Coachella Valley. Jerry's tracking your conditions a little later on.
Missed the news yesterday? Well, don't worry. You can watch the latest stories and even original news programming over on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Every morning at 6 a.m., Jerry and I are here to help you start your day informed and connected. And after our newscast, I head out into our community to listen and bring you the stories that truly impact our lives here in the Valley so that your voice is heard.
You're watching our digital live stream. For the latest news and updates on developing stories, head over to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Don't miss our digital exclusive content. Me on a Plate, Talking with Thalia, Kai the Deal Guy, and Desert Entertainment with Todd. Only on NBCPalmSprings.com.
News isn't all we do. We have a wide variety of original programming for you to enjoy over on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Successful wildlife projects are happening all across the Salton Sea.
And in the middle of these restoration efforts, lithium enters the equation. Dive into the delicate balance of nature and the emerging Lithium Valley, streaming on NBCPalmSprings.com.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 11.
Welcome back. The Walter Clark Legal Group filed a motion for preliminary injunction against the county's Animal Services Department and former director Aaron Geddes. They were asking the court to require the county to stop killing animals for space, provide medical treatment to animals in their care, stop releasing animals before they're spayed and neutered, and provide more kennel space. The final hearing on the case is expected in the near future. We spoke with Walter Clark, who had this to say.
The horrific issue has been us learning that all the killing and the inhumane activity has continued while this litigation has been pending. So because of that, we felt it was important to ask this new judge, please give us an injunction to stop them from what they call euthanizing animals.
The new judge in the case will consider the injunction at a hearing on February 10th. Walter Clark is hoping the case goes to trial because he says there is significant evidence to prove the county misused taxpayer funds and has not been following the law when it comes to caring for animals. We have a few fun events to tell you about that are happening this weekend. The Southwest Arts Festival returns to the Empire Polo Grounds. It starts today and it runs throughout the weekend. From traditional and contemporary art to jewelry and high-quality crafts, over 150 artists from far and wide come to show their work at the annual festival. Tickets are around $30. You can save a few bucks by purchasing online beforehand. And we've got the link right there at the bottom of your screen. And then tomorrow, the Palm Springs Health, Run, and Wellness Festival kicks off at Ruth Hardy Park in Palm Springs. The event starts Saturday morning at 8 a.m. It goes until 1. There will be a 1K fun run, a bike ride, a 5K, and a 10K for more serious runners. And a familiar face to NBC Palm Springs, Scott Nevins will be the master of ceremonies. You remember him as Scotty the Retired Elf from our Lights special. The event will also include fitness classes, demonstrations from yoga and Zumba classes, and you can register at palmspringshealthrun.com. Live look outside our Agua Caliente Casino camera and Rancho Mirage. Should be a great weekend for all of those fun outdoor events. Jerry's tracking those conditions in his 7-day forecast. It's right after this break, so stay with us for that.
Missed the news yesterday? Well, don't worry. You can watch the latest stories and even original news programming over on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Every morning at 6 a.m., Jerry and I are here to help you start your day informed and connected. And after our newscast, I head out into our community to listen and bring you the stories that truly impact our lives here in the Valley so that your voice is heard.
You're watching our digital live stream. For the latest news and updates on developing stories, head over to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Don't miss our digital exclusive content. Me on a Plate, Talking with Thalia, Kai the Deal Guy, and Desert Entertainment with Todd. Only on NBCPalmSprings.com.
News isn't all we do. We have a wide variety of original programming for you to enjoy over on our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Successful wildlife projects are happening all across the Salton Sea.
And in the middle of these restoration efforts, lithium enters the equation. Dive into the delicate balance of nature and the emerging Lithium Valley, streaming on NBCPalmSprings.com.
Worried about missing a broadcast? Don't worry. We stream just about everywhere from Instagram to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our website, NBCPalmSprings.com. Be sure not to miss
We're seeing partly cloudy skies over the valleys. You can see under Walter Clark 111 cam. Yesterday, 73 degrees, the high in Palm Springs, close to normal. 71 is where we should be in mid-January, and we'll be kind of close to that again this afternoon. Right now, a lot of 60s in the Coachella Valley, although standing out 71 degrees. That's at Thousand Palms. 61. The current temp under partly cloudy skies at Yucca Valley, 59. A little cooler around the San Gorgonio Pass. Winds under 10 miles an hour. They're variable right now, but we'll get more of an onshore flow late today through tomorrow morning. Here's that low pressure center we've been tracking over the past 24 hours. It's moving its way to our south. It could pull up some moisture over Southern California. We're seeing that in the way of clouds, but as far as rain, yeah, nothing showing up around the Coachella Valley or much of Southern California for that matter. But there is a slight chance of rain, mostly over mountains and to the south of us as that low pressure center makes its way to the east over northwest Mexico. So here's the latest HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh. It's often updated. It's a short-range model, but it's a little aggressive as far as rain, but mostly over the mountains as we take you over the next several hours. Moving into the afternoon hours, we could see some, again, mountain showers, maybe even a few snowflakes, but nothing for the valley. And the ensemble forecast says not much at all, if anything at all. And if anything does fall, it'll be over the higher elevations. 72, 73s, and 74s for highs today in the Coachella Valley. 60s to our west and to our north under partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows, we'll see some upper 40s, low 50s in the Coachella Valley. So tomorrow, that low pressure center exits the area. We begin with an onshore flow that turns more northeasterly by late in the day on Saturday and especially into Sunday, ushering in some drier air. And the windiest day looks like it'll be late on Saturday, but only around the San Gorgonio Pass and just strong breezes for the rest of us in the valley. And that wind shift will bring drier air in late Saturday and especially Sunday and Monday. Middle of the day relative humidity close to 10%. As far as rain chances on Saturday, almost non-existent. A couple sprinkles in the mountains, that's about it. 72 degrees on Saturday under mostly sunny skies for Palm Springs, 74 at Palm Desert. And as far as the football games, this coming Sunday, got two going on. New England taking on the Broncos in Denver, 20 degrees at kickoff under partly cloudy skies and some snow flurries a possibility, 43 degrees in Seattle in the game between the Rams and Seahawks. Comfort Air 70 forecast, 73 degrees today. Under a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow, mostly sunny, 72. High clouds move in on Sunday, still 70 degrees both Sunday and Monday. Then we begin to warm up. Middle 70s on Tuesday, could see 80 degrees Friday of next week.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
H is for Hawk. It's a movie based on the New York Times bestseller. It's about a woman who learns to deal with grief in an unusual way. Our Manny the Movie Guy has details.
Dad? dad, I just saw a pair of hawks.
A pair?
Yeah. They were sort of gliding around each other.
Give us the genesis. What got you interested in co-writing and directing the film based on the fantastic memoir by Helen MacDonald right here?
Well, I was very lucky enough to be invited to join the team, and also this incredible memoir written by Helen about the experiences of losing their dad. You know, that was to me something so special because I had just lost my dad not long before I was invited to join them. And so reading Helen's memoir, it really, really spoke to me so profoundly.
My dad, he was a quiet man with a camera.
Watch carefully so you remember what you've seen.
And Helen, it's an honor to meet you, the source of the powerful narrative. How does it feel seeing your life story on the big screen?
Utterly surreal and wonderful. And it sort of made my heart both kind of re-break again a bit when healed it as well. It's a really astonishing thing to see a book that I made, my story made out of language in the book, and then somehow it's translated into this living, breathing thing with Claire Foy, who kind of has this incredible ability to basically become me on screen. It completely freaked me out.
There'll be a time when all this seems like a bad dream.
You know, Helen's memoir means a lot to so many people, and many of those people made the film. Someone very close to me, the book means so much to them that I was just drawn to it, and I knew that I sort of had to do it. There wasn't really an option.
Oh, no, in preparation for your role, what's the most important piece of advice that you got from real-life author Helen MacDonald?
I asked Helen before we started shooting about what was be the worst possible thing in their mind that I could do, or that I could turn, you know, this into in my performance. I'm not going to say what it is, but it was a really, really important for me to know what to avoid, what their fear would be, so that I could treat it really sensitively and make sure that I honoured that how they wanted to come across and how they wanted to be portrayed, as opposed to how I thought was the right way or wrong way to do it.
When I call her, then you let her go.
A big congrats on H is for Hawk again. A deeply moving, visually captivating, and emotionally resonant film about healing and nature. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so sunny. That was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Claire. Good luck on everything.
Thank you.
Smile.
Before we go, Riverside County Animal Services waiving adoption fees through February 1st. That includes vaccines, microchips, spay and neuter surgeries, and an ID tag. They also offer a $25 gift card if you adopt a dog that's been in the shelter for over 30 days.
And related, the weather is not pawful. It's going to be okay today, near normal numbers, low 70s today, with a mix of sun and clouds, more sunshine tomorrow.